We are back. It is Tape Don't Lie. It is preview week. It's preview time. You know what I'm saying? We're getting ready for the New York Jets, for the Las Vegas Raiders. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Quick as we can get to 3,000. We're trying to get there. Let's go ahead and push us there up to 3,000 subscribers. We really appreciate everybody who has subscribed already. So keep checking us out. Keep spreading the word about the Tape Don't Lie, everything that we do here. So really appreciate every single one of you. You know what it is? It's you the boy Marcus Johnson at the Mark John NFL. You got BD Williams at BD Williams 18. Offensive guy, defensive guy, however you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you follow us on those Twitter handles. And like I said, make sure you hit the subscribe button. So BD, how you feeling, man? Good?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling great, actually. Feeling great.
Yeah.
My work week was pretty busy.
Okay.
Didn't get to churn out as much content. Not that there was much of anything to go over from this last game.
Yeah.
So it's probably better that this was a busy work week for me.
I agree.
But yeah, how about you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. I'm doing a lot of moving stuff, but we're grinding.
You're moving?
No, I'm not moving. I'm just moving stuff.
Oh, okay.
Just cleaning crap.
Bend with your knees, not your back. Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that advice. All right, man. So this week we got the 0 and 12? 0 and 12 Jets. Or was it 0 and 11? 0 and 11. Sorry, I gave him a loss. 0 and 11. 0 and 11 New York Jets. I really don't know much to say, to be honest. Off the tape I watched, I don't know about how you feel, BD, but man, I don't know. I don't know really what else to say. I guess there's some positives there. I'll go over a little bit of positives here and there, but they're definitely 0 and 11. Let's just say that.
It's their offense, because their defense isn't that much different than when I was going through the Falcons defense.
Yeah.
Very similar. They like to blitz a lot. They have some problems in their secondary, but they can get pressure, so it's really very similar, I would say, units, So,
but
we'll see.
It's not Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley and all those guys on the other side. So, well, it's interesting. It's interesting with this team because the wide receivers actually are pretty good. The core, you would say, they have talent. I know, you got Crowder, you got Perryman, you got Mims. I'll go over them a little bit, but it's more just I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like they look better with Joe Flacco. Let me just say that with Joe Flacco, he still looks terrible. But
he doesn't look good.
He didn't look good, but they look better. They actually score points with Flacco.
The funniest sequence I've seen this year in football. Against the Chargers, Herbert throws to Keenan Allen near the goal line. Okay, and Keenan Allen's like fighting for some extra yards. He's trying to get across, and Jets defender goes in and punches the ball out the very last second, right?
Yeah.
And then the very next, so the Jets have the ball on the 1 yard line. The very next play, Joe Flacco throws the worst interception.
Yeah.
And the guy just walks into the end zone. That was the dumbest thing I've seen. Oh my goodness.
I don't know why he read it was because it was a slant flat, and I don't know why he read the flat on that one. I watched that.
And there was no zip on it either. It was like
it was underthrown. Yeah, it was underthrown. It was just bad.
It was like that. The defense was hustling for that, and the offense was just like, "Nah, we feel bad for Keenan Allen or something." I don't get it. That was hilarious to watch. I think it's mostly their offense because their defense it's not great. It isn't a great defense. I would have thought that they would win at least a couple games. So I don't know.
With the defense, the offense is just bad. That's basically what it is.
Right.
The offense is not very good at all. Let's just keep it real, especially with Sam Darnold. I don't know what his problem is, but
he's starting this week, right, Darnold?
Yeah, Darnold's starting. Which that's what I'm saying. I think this game, it's really on Paul Gunther and his defense. I think if they actually play, they play well, if they play like they did against the Broncos, which they should, because this is the Broncos is better offense than them, but it's also just this offense is just as predictable.
There's more volume though. There's more volume in the Jets offense, right?
A little bit. A little bit. Not really.
Really?
not a whole lot of volume. I mean, it's kind of like they like to do these bunch sets and stuff like that. So they kind of like get repetitive. A lot of outside zone. They kind of like they don't have a running game. I think it's the biggest problem is they can't run the football. Their interior offensive line is not very good. So
They're all hurt too. I checked
yeah,
their
yeah,
injury
they're all
report. They're
hurt.
all hurt.
They're all hurt. The whole line's hurt too. Except Mekhi
The
Becton. He's a stud.
starting, yeah, the Mekhi Becton, he's an animal.
He's a
That
stud.
guy's a beast. But their starting left guard is hurt. Their backup left guard is hurt. Their center is hurt, and I think their right tackle is hurt.
Yeah.
So
And they're playing. They have two right tackles who are both hurt, and they're playing the swing tackle at right tackle. Yeah.
All right.
Because they're supposed to have George Fant, and then I forgot the other dude's name that's behind them, but they're both hurt, and then they have the swing tackle.
I think Fant's gonna play though. They're just banged up. I think they're all gonna start. It looks like at least.
Fant didn't play last week though. So.
He didn't play last week. Oh.
No. It was the backup. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into this. You go ahead and start with hit us up this defense.
All right. So first things first, elephant in the room, Quinnen Williams. He's an animal. He's a stud. He's the best player on the Jets. Okay. And he's a really good pass rusher. Obviously, he's coming into his own this like late in his second season. He's getting better. This is my favorite play probably he made. Reads the screen, runs it down against the best screen team in the NFL. And yeah, he's just he's a beast to handle as an interior rusher, especially when they blitz so much that he's going to get one-on-ones with a guard, and he's going to be a lot for a guard or a center to handle. He has great awareness, vision for the quarterback. And he had like 3 sacks against in last week. Okay, he had 3 sacks against the Dolphins, and he's not just a one-trick pony. He can stop the run too. Okay, so he's an animal. They're going to have their hands full on the interior stopping that guy. Okay, now they also have great. They have a great blitz package over here. It's not just Quinnen Williams that generates pressure. This is a really fun one. I just wanted to highlight. So this linebacker's blitzing. Okay, so this guard and center, they go, okay, we're just going to pass off this. But what they don't realize is actually a 3-man game, and that guard isn't able to pick up that linebacker. He doesn't see it until it's too late, okay? So they do a great job disguising it, and I just want to highlight this leaves the tackles one-on-one on the outside, right? So Brandon Parker, he's going to have to be on an island by himself when they're blitzing so much, especially running those 3-man games in the middle. Now, the Jets defense has a really tough time covering tight ends. This is Mike Gesicki right here. Dolphins motion him inside, run a little corner, get him isolated on a safety, touchdown, right? This is Adam Shaheen. This is the Dolphins' other tight end. Red zone, touchdown. I don't even know what that coverage was. It was terrible coverage. This is Chargers, Hunter Henry. Okay, he literally just stands still and no one's covering him. Okay, they do not know how to cover tight ends, and it's not just in the red zone; it's in the middle of the field as well. Some third downs. Got Mike Gesicki. He's one-on-one with the linebacker who cannot cover him to save his life right there. You got this is again Hunter Henry, one-on-one with the linebacker, cannot cover him. Big third down catch. Okay, and this just goes into they have a really tough time getting off the field on third downs. They have really bad situational awareness on this defense. If they don't get a splash play with this front seven, their secondary is going to bust or just not make smart plays. Look at this corner at the bottom of the screen here. It's 3rd and 5, and he starts bailing out. He's not defending the sticks at all. That is a really piss poor play in the NFL. You cannot do that in the NFL. Same corner, same game. Going up against like the 4th wide receiver. Okay. He's bailing out of there and not defending the sticks, gives up 3rd and 6. Okay. Now against the run too, 3rd and 1. Okay. Dolphins, they have 3 guys in the middle of their formation. Jets have 3 guys in the middle of their formation. So they're even there. Now Dolphins have 3 blockers on the left. Jets have 5 blockers to the left. And they only have 2 defenders to the 4. So where do you think the ball is going to go here on a 3rd and 1? Okay, they're obviously running over there. This you can't get lined up like that. This is like high school stuff. Okay, so really, if their front seven doesn't get the pressure, Okay, if their pass rush doesn't get the pressure, this is not a good secondary. They're going to bust. So yeah, that's something I saw that I noticed very often. Third and longs, teams were able to convert on them because they just have basically just a whole bunch of journeymen in their secondary, like Bleshawn Austin and BJ Poole, and just like all these corners that probably not many people, unless you're like just super into football, have heard of. They got Bryce Hall coming off of injury last year, and he's played his first like few games here. That was a corner that I liked, but he's still a young guy, so it's just either they're really young in the secondary or they're just journeymen in the secondary, and they're just giving up catch after catch after catch, really. So
Okay. Is Greg Williams still doing that thing where he has the single high safety 30 yards downfield?
Yeah, he likes his safeties playing flat foot, but he doesn't like them backing up. He likes them playing deep and triggering down. And it doesn't work really very often, but that's what he likes.
When was the last time it worked for him to do that? 2010?
I know the story. I know the story and why, and I can't remember it right now. But basically, way back in the day, he had a really good safety who could do it, and he's coached it like that ever since. But
what safety did it have?
I can't remember. I can't remember who he was with. It was probably Darren Sharper, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he had Darren Sharper, but I'm thinking, was it Lawyer Malloy in Buffalo? Because he's coaching Buffalo. I don't know. Probably before that.
I remember hearing this story about how that whole 30-yard deep safety originated, but yeah, he doesn't like his safeties backing up. He wants them to play really deep. So yeah, like they're running normal stuff. They're running normal NFL stuff. They have a good blitz package. It's just like you saw that corner on 3rd and 5 playing off and really bailing out of there. So it's just the details. It's like there's nothing wrong with that call probably defensively.
Yeah.
It's just like getting a guy enough experience to know, okay, you need to trust your technique a little bit more, not or defend the sticks a little bit more. That's just something that comes with time, and young guys aren't going to always do that. They're going to make mistakes, more often than not. Young guys, especially on the outside, are going to make mistakes. So that's just what it comes down to. I think he's doing a fine job, especially giving
the talent he has.
Yeah, I think he's done a fine job as a defensive coordinator.
I mean, he's a good coach. Just that 30-yard free safety thing just cracks me up. I don't know. Every time I see it, I just laugh. Because he used to have Demarius Randall do that with the Browns. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you want, we can talk about the merits to it, but it's probably not a big deal.
I know. It's just always interesting. I was just wondering if he's still doing that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, this offense should show up, and have a good game against them. I think every good offense has had a good game against them. The Dolphins' offense is okay. So, I mean, the only team that has a good offense that didn't was the Bills. But, I mean, the Bills still found a way to win because the offense is so bad. So, I think, I think the offense will show up, hopefully, and maybe, catch some footballs and, Derek Carr won't fumble or, things like that. Avoid the turnovers, get some good runs.
The craziest thing, though, is that they forced like 4 fumbles last week against the Dolphins. So I was watching that and I was like, oh God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like Quinnen Williams forced like 2 fumbles by himself. He had like 3 sacks. Like he had a breakout game last week. But yeah, they've been forcing a lot of fumbles actually recently. The last few weeks, so on this defense. So hopefully the Raiders, their ball security is fixed because this team is definitely going for the ball.
Yeah, and I think they got to start getting rid of the ball quick too. I think they got to get rid of the ball quicker. Carr's holding the ball longer than he usually does. I think they got to get. I mean, you saw the short game a little bit last week, but it was like the really short game. It was like screen game. Like, I mean, maybe get some like slants and some quick throws to these blitzes. Kind of like what they did at the Saints. The Saints game, they wasn't a lot of deep throws that game, but Carr was super effective against all those blitzes they were running because he was getting the ball out of his hands quick. And I feel like they're trying so hard to throw deep that these blitzes are getting home because they're trying to I mean, that's what happens in the Falcons game. Like they were, I mean, everything was a deep call. I felt like that game. It was either a deep call or a screen, and
It was almost like a Bruce Arians offense or something like that.
yeah, you know what I
Like
mean? Like all the four verts. I talked about that
yeah,
last week. But it's the intermediate game is there, especially if these teams, blitzing teams. Get Darren Waller isolated on some slants. He wins an option. He's been winning in option routes all year. Get some of those option routes going and stuff like that, so Carr can get the ball out of his hands quick against these blitzes, like they did against the Saints. And I think that's going to be the mindset, because teams are going to see last week and they're going to keep blitzing. So the Jets could, okay, he got flustered by the blitz a little bit. We're going to blitz the hell out of him, and they got to.
Greg Williams is going to blitz no matter what. It didn't matter if it looked
That's
good
true.
or didn't. He's going to blitz. That's his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I 100% agree with you. Here's the thing: the Falcons have some talented corners, some high draft picks. Okay, but they're young. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that they did a solid job against the Raiders last week.
Yeah, they did.
The Jets do not have the same talent level. And if everyone's like saying, okay, you've been saying this, a lot of people have been saying it, Gruden is setting press conferences, we'd love to throw a screen or a slant to Henry Ruggs, but he's not separating. If Henry Ruggs can't separate against Bleshawn Austin, okay?
Who is Bleshawn Austin?
Exactly. If he can't separate against these guys, like he needs to have a big game.
Yeah,
okay? It's time. It's so past time for like a big gain on a slant for Henry Ruggs. Like
yeah,
Hunter Renfrow had like 5 of them last year. Like, come on.
But John's got to make the call. I think John's got to believe in him too, bro. Like sometimes maybe just believe in the guy to win. Sometimes he's got to learn. So he loses against the Saints, or we'll never run a slam with him again. But he was going against Marshawn Lattimore. It's like, what is? It's a second game in the NFL. He's hurt. That was the last time they ran a slam with him, and he lost. Yeah, he lost, but he's learning. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This needs to be the game that happens for sure. Like these corners are not good. So.
All right. So let's get into this offense, which is the fun part. I'm a little positive here today, so we'll be all right. A little positive. I didn't get too much into them, like I could have. But let's go ahead and start with the Jets run game. It's really basically not really there, and it's mostly because we'll get into it later. The interior O-line is not very strong right now for the Jets. They are outside zone team, so they love outside zone. I mean, you can see Mekhi Becton. He's going to always be winning and kicking people's butts. But what you'll notice on this one is how the inside guards, they just kind of get blown up on these outside zones. And they run a little split zone. Sometimes, teams mix it up. Always mix it up the run game. But this is their main focus, is that you see like 92 just blowing that up. Everybody's blowing those guards up, and the center and everybody, and they're beat up on the O-line, and you see here, it's a little more of a power look here on this one out of the shotgun. Same result though. Everybody blown up. That time, blow up by the tight end by 91. Frank West go outside, nothing there. And then we even got against a bad run team, because the Dolphins are a pretty good run team, right? Well, Marcus, maybe against a lesser run team, they do the same thing. No, not really. Outside zone, people blowing up. Melvin Ingram going past Mekhi Becton loses that time. Nothing, right? So let's get into the wide receivers, though, because they do have a little bit of talent wide receivers. We're going to start off with one of my favorite guys out of the draft was Denzel Mims. I know Red Raiders fans, they were Denzel Mims when he was coming out of Baylor. And he's definitely a really talented guy. You're going to see him here on the slant flat combo, dragon, whatever you want to call it. Catch the ball, nice catch with his hands, make a player miss, get some yak. So, I mean, he's definitely got some talent, some big time talent that they're starting to tap into over there in New York. Here you go again. He's going to be running a dig route. All right, got a good release inside. Nice little quickness inside. Nice hands, catch with his hands. Pretty stuff. So Denzel Mims is a really talented guy. A lot of these guys can win outside. And then the security blanket is Jamison Crowder. That's a security blanket, and he's quick. And he gets open. Sam Darnold loves him some Jamison Crowder. That's who he leans on, right? He leans on him, and he's going to try to make him win every time. So another guy that's a secretly good deep ball guy who I kind of wanted in free agency this past year was Rashard Perryman. You see him beat Casey Hayward right there pretty easily on the deep ball, and you see him beat him again right here on the deep ball and he tracks the football very well. Touchdown. So it's they can beat you in the air if Darnold gets some time and he maybe get hot a little bit. They can beat you over the top, but it's more about, is he going to get time to do that if the Raiders come to play? And if the Raiders corners come to play, I mean, it depends on what coverage they show and they try to confuse him. That's what it's all about. I mean, because those were Joe Flacco. So Sam Darnold's a little bit different. Now, bunch formations. This is like their main thing. They love these bunch formations, and they love to, make designs out of it. You see here, they get the Dolphins super confused. Brashad Perriman ends up wide open, 37 yards. Nice play right there out of the bunch formations, right? So got him on the corner route. This is a pretty one. This is like a nice little outside wheel route by Jamison Crowder. Nice adjustment to the ball out of the bunch. Touchdown. That was against a good, this the Patriots defense isn't as good as it usually, but Bill Belichick comes up with the game plans. Now, watch the Dolphins this time. They do a nice little job of switching here. They play a lot better, kind of the same look they ran before, but they played a lot better. So the Raiders just basically have to have communication against these bunches, because Adam Gase can get pretty creative with the bunch formations, and it could, if you're playing man to man, you can get confused and you could lose coverage. So the Raiders have to be very disciplined against those. All right. So the inside is offensive line needs to be attacked. I don't care what the Raiders do. They got to send some kind of blitzes, something at these guys. I think it's time for these inside guys to win too against, they're going to get some one-on-ones. They got to win against these guys. And you see some good blitzes here from the Dolphins, right? Look at that free. It's terrible communication. Guys just all over Sam Darnold, right? They got no communication there. Guys just running free. You'll see here the inside guy, 67. He gets beat really quick here. These guys just are not very good inside. Just boom, get quick pressure. The right tackle, he's a journeyman too. He's getting beat. Got Darnold out of the pocket. It's third down. That's it. You got a punt. Then you see this one. This is bad communication again, right? Perriman free, wide open through the middle, sack. So this interior offensive line is really, 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 really bad. Okay, so they are a bad inside offensive. The interior is just bad, right? The outside, the right tackle, they're on the third right tackle too. The only steady cog is a rookie, Mekhi Becton, who's going to lose sometimes just because he's a rookie and he's learning. But yeah, he might bruise you a couple times just because he's a monster. But this is a game where the defensive line should feast. Like, they should have a good game. Like Max Crosby should have a good game. All these guys, these are the type of dudes that Max Crosby's, the Carl Nassibs, even Cleveland Farrell. I don't know if he's coming back. John Gruden's so confusing. I saw a report that he wasn't, and I saw a report that he was. Farrell might be back.
He's coming back. David Irving. It's gonna be his time to shine this week.
Yeah.
He's got fresh legs. He's hasn't gone through the grind of a full season, Hopefully conditioning is ready to go. Sam Darnold's going to run around on you, And so when I watched David Irving, that was the biggest thing that I liked about him. I was like, this is a very similar game to Max Crosby in that a lot of the plays that he makes are hustle plays.
Yeah.
So if you got Max Crosby in there, you got David Irving on the inside rushing the passer. Sam Darnold starts moving around. Those guys, their motor shouldn't stop, at least, going off of David Irving's tape from, a couple years ago. If he brings that kind of juice, that's definitely going to be a good game for those guys. And yeah, it's gonna have to be Chris Smith will play, Kendall Vickers will play, I guess. Maurice Hurst, that'll be like the rotation on the inside on passing downs.
Yeah.
So yeah, but. Raiders are banged up there, I think, a little bit. Interior defensive line.
Yeah, they are. They are very banged up. But that's why I think the blitz, they got to get interesting with the blitz packages, the stunts. These guys aren't. They haven't. This line is kind of discombobulated. They don't have a lot of good communication. Sam Darnold doesn't get set protections well at the line, so he's getting free blitzes at him. It's happened to Joe Flacco too. So there's not a lot of good communication at the line for this team. So since there's not a lot of good communication, the Raiders got to try to confuse these guys and get easy pressure that way. Because that's the key to this game. This offensive line is not very good, but if Sam Darnold has time, you can see what happens, right? So, and these guys aren't bad. Yeah. They're not bad on the outside.
I was just about to say that. So, let's just say for a second, if the offensive line, all like uncharacteristically for the Jets, plays really well.
Yeah.
I really like this receiving group on paper.
Yeah.
Jamison Crowder is a very, very underrated player in the NFL. Okay. He runs fantastic routes. Great slot guy. Okay. Rashad Perryman. He's a one-trick pony, but the one trick works, and it has been working. He's a deep ball guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you got Denzel Mims. He's been coming into his own last couple weeks here. He's like, the possession combat catch kind of guy. So they have a lot of different styles of receiver and guys who we know can win just looking at the tape, right? So I really like that receiver core. Hopefully the Raiders are, come to play and they're prepared, and the East Coast trip doesn't take any gas out of them. But yeah, I mean, this could be potentially a dangerous receiving group. It's just that I guess they're not getting any protection on the offensive line, and things are breaking down so quickly that they're not able to really see the potential of it.
They're in third and long a lot too because they can't run the football.
Because they can't run,
yeah. The best game they did run the football was that Chargers game, and I mean they put up 28 points, so they can't run the football. That's their problem. It's the main issue. They don't have a lot of good running backs. Frank Gore, I mean, was, but I mean he's 38, I think, something like that. So he's up there in age. That's got to be the Raiders' focus, is stop this run game, because once they stop the run game and they get him into volume passing, that's why it's important for this offense to get up on them too. Because once they get out of that, man, once they get up on them and they get out of it, it's lights out. It's lights out. They're not. If the Raiders go up on them, I mean, even 14-0, I think the Raiders have a good shot to start putting the knockout blows on them. Just being up 14-0. Because this offense, it's so based on the run game too. They run the football so much. They attempt to, at least. They try to protect Darnold by running the football and try to do some play action and stuff like that. But they got to be ready for this bunch formations, because like I said, even the Dolphins, they're a well coached team and they got confused on a couple of them. So it's key. I mean, they do stack formations a lot. That's kind of like what they like to do, and you have to be prepared for that, for sure, because if they get lost,
Raiders struggle against stack and bunch formations.
Oh God, BD. Yeah, don't tell the listeners that.
They do.
They do. True. I'm sure they do. But I'm telling you, and if Adam Gase believes that, he's coming with it, because against the Dolphins, he ran it a lot. Against the Chargers, it's still the foundation, but it wasn't there as much.
And that's because Dolphins play a lot of man.
Did it against the Patriots too? Did a lot against the Patriots too?
And Patriots play a lot of man coverage. Chargers play a lot of zone. So there's no point in guys switching releases and everything. Everyone's just backing up into their zone. So that they don't need to do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to be interesting. The reason why the Raiders struggle is because they don't adjust. They play lock a lot to stack formation, meaning, the nickel is going to have his guy, the outside linebacker or the safety, whoever's down in man coverage on the stack, he's going to have his guy, and they're just going to play it. For the most part, that's how they do it. The only times that there was like a little bit of a scheme tweak was against the Chiefs when they were, doing some different things. I'll save that for another episode. I have that in my back pocket. But for the most part, they don't switch these guys off in stack and bunch formations. They just try to play straight man. So hopefully Paul Gunther, that was a criticism that I've had in I think it was after the Bucks game. They never adjusted when they were getting beat on all the man beaters and the stacks stuff. They never started banjoing it, meaning passing it to the next guy, switching almost like a basketball play, right? So hopefully we can see at least a little bit of a cat and mouse game. Sometimes they play straight man, sometimes they banjo it, but yeah, they've had troubles with that so far this year, Raiders defense.
Okay. Well, good thing I pointed that out, because I did notice that was a thing that they like to do. So it was just so often, you know what I mean? Like it stood out. That's why I was like, man, there's a lot of
it's like Gase and McVay that run stack and bunch formations the most in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Those two.
McVay's a little more dense. Gase
he just reduces the splits.
Yeah, he reduces the splits a lot, and then Gase is more spread out. And then like Gase will do a bunch on one side, and then he'll have the X be the main guy, and that's the first read with a bunch of the other side. So yeah, he does a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, watching this offense is weird. Like it's like I feel like that. I don't know. Is it the quarterback? What is wrong with this offense? Like I feel like it's not like bad schematically either. Maybe I don't know. Did I feel like because everybody says it is? Maybe it's the play calling. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
It's because that's what I'm saying. I'm watching this like, okay, well, it's not that terrible, but they just execute everything terribly. Like the scheme itself is not bad, but it's just it's kind of a creative West Coast scheme, and maybe it has to be the play calling because I mean it's the same thing when you talk about situational stuff. Like you're calling a certain route and certain things on like 3rd and 3, and then you don't got a lot of time for Darnold, and Darnold's getting blitzed, and he's got no out route. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's interesting.
So that's the thing. A lot of people say Paul Guenther's scheme, like NFL coaches, they like Paul Guenther's scheme, right? But the execution isn't there.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of that is on the coach, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When you see it, like you see what's happening, and you don't have like there's no problem with it schematically, right? But players aren't executing. That falls on the coach at the end of the day. Like it is what it is. It just falls on the coach. You got to have that attention to detail and pay attention to the fundamentals, because sometimes coaches who are especially scheme gurus, they forget like football is just about running, blocking, tackling. Like that's what it's about at the end of the day. And so you could have an incredible scheme, but if you guys don't do those things, like who cares what your scheme is?
Because it is a play calling. Because even like the play I showed when Perryman got open, they ran the same play again, like it was on the next drive, and then of course they played it correctly. Like you know what I mean? Like, but the Raiders got to see that. Like we got to play this correctly the first time. We can't let Bashard Perryman get a cheap 37 yards on the field. Because I mean that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to create confusion with the bunches against man coverage. That's what he's trying to do.
We should have talked about this earlier. I think John Abrams is going to be out for this game.
I did see that.
So the communication, like that's the thing that people don't understand. When I'm watching the film, at least, it's very obvious. Abrams' communication. He's a strong vocal communicator out there, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, Eric Harris has been in the defense for a while. I think Jeff Heath is kind of coming into his own, probably not as vocal of a guy, right? Mm-hmm. But we'll see, because a linebacker, if you're hearing the call, corner, when you're hearing the call, you kind of like get used to a safety back there. And so now if it's a different safety, that could be a little bit of an adjustment, understanding what guys like to do and getting the call to those guys. So the communicate if their offense stresses the Raiders' communication and someone like Abram isn't back there, could be potentially an issue. So we'll see. But we talked about enough about that offense. Come on. I mean, if the Raiders have a hard time with this offense, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be upset. So I'll be very upset. Yeah, that's what I said. Like this game is. I mean, if the Raiders have a struggle a little bit with the defense, they better win 20-10. That's all I'm saying. It better be 20-10, 23-10. That's fine. Just get out of there. But if this offense scores like 17 points, I'll be mad. To be honest, I'll be upset.
All right, you're setting yourself up for being upset.
I am. I will be. I don't care. I don't care if they win 23-17. I'm gonna be mad. Because come on.
I'm not amused. I'm not amused by this one at all. Like it's Raiders. It's very embarrassing to be a Raiders fan and see your team get beat like that when people were like amping them up and like the media all year.
Third best team in the AFC. Like,
right, all this stuff, right?
Whoa, the Titans stuff, bro. on the Titans.
It's not going to be amusing. This is not going to be amusing to me this week, honestly. Like, just go in there, handle business, and focus.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the Raiders potentially they're battling. Like Browns are almost like a lock. They have 8 wins.
Well, they got to finish. They got to finish, bro.
They got to finish. They got to finish.
They got to. My other podcast, we're talking about that.
They're playing the Colts. They're playing Dolphins. Both those teams have more wins than the Raiders right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. So those are the 3 wild cards in the AFC, right?
Yeah.
So luckily for the Raiders that there's 3 wild cards instead of 2 wild cards, but starting this year, that's like the new playoff format.
Yeah.
But so it's not even just the Raiders like having to like handle business. They're also going to have to hope some teams start crapping the bed here at the end of the, like Colts and Dolphins. Like they got to hope these teams start slipping.
See, my thing is with that though, is that they play those teams. They just got to beat them.
Well, even if they beat them, and then those teams only lost, they'll still have a better record though. So that's the problem.
I mean, if they win out, bro, you're assuming that
if both teams win out,
they still got the Bills. They still got the Pats. I think again, the Dolphins. Yeah, it ain't gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy for the Dolphins either. The big games for the Raiders is they have to handle these next couple teams, the Chargers.
They basically got to win out.
The Broncos, huh?
They basically have to win out. Like they maybe could lose
basically.
1.
I think they could lose 2 and still get in because I think the other teams are going to start losing. I don't think the other teams are going to. There's no 12. The Dolphins are going 12-4. Let's just keep it real. They're not going 12-4, dog. So right. Either are the Colts. Okay, either of the Colts. The Colts are going to go 12-4. We don't know how Rivers' arm's going to end. It's December. He's old. Just like Tom Brady's looking older as December goes along. The Raiders just got beat the Colts, beat the Dolphins, and if you beat the Jets and you beat the Chargers and you beat the Dolphins, you better beat the damn Broncos. That's all I'm gonna say because that's the game that scares them. That game scares them.
They have to win out.
To be safe, of course. The safe way is to win out, but they can afford a loss. I think if they go 4-1, they'll make the playoffs. I think they go 4-1. But
my thing is, before the Falcons game, their destiny was in their own hands. After that loss, now it's like you see what we're doing. We're doing like all this mental gymnastics here. Like, oh, this team, they have a tough schedule and blah blah blah. Like, it's not in their hands anymore. Like, they gotta hope things.
Because if they win this week and then they beat the Colts, they're tied with the Colts automatically. We don't know if the Colts lose. Colts got the Texans this week. They could lose. Texans, Deshaun Watson's been balling, so they could lose to the Colts. Could lose to the Texans. Okay, so. But even if the Raiders win this week, which they have to win first, let's just keep that real. They win, they go play the Colts, and they win. They're in playoff spot. But then they got to go beat the Chargers. That's when they just saying they can't mess around with these other teams. They go beat the Chargers, and then if they beat the Chargers, they'll have they'll be 6-3 in conference. So they're gonna have all the tiebreakers. And then if they beat the Dolphins, they're gonna be 7-3 in conference. That's the main thing. They're 4-3 in conference. So if they beat these teams that we start beating and they start building up that conference record, they got to beat these AFC teams that they got left. And then, they could maybe afford a loss. They'll have the tiebreaker.
I know it's a mathematical possibility that they're going to – I'm just saying we have to do all this stuff.
If they beat the Dolphins and the Colts, they could get into 9-7. It's just that stupid Broncos game because John Gruden has never won in Denver. So that's the scary game. That's the game that scares the hell out of me is that because all hell's going to break loose if they have a chance to make the playoffs and they lose the last game. That's what
yeah.
That's when all hell will break loose. Second year in a row, that ain't gonna happen. All right, but anyways, guys, we're going long this time. So, all right, we're getting into playoff, man. It's true though. It's true. If they win these next 2 weeks, win these next 2 weeks, man, they are in position again. They just gotta win these next 2 games, which they can. But we'll see.
You're talking me off a ledge, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I need that.
They got to beat the damn Broncos week 17. That's what I'm more worried about. Because I feel like this team is they got their butts kicked last week, but everybody's freaking out. I think I mean, hopefully they bounce back. I'm not gonna be too much faith in the Raiders, but I think what we've noticed this year, most of the time from watching tape, is that they've been playing up to competition. You know what I mean? They've been playing up to competition for most of the year. They play the Bills well. They got the Patriots are not as good as them. They got their butts whooped by the Patriots. I don't understand that. But then they went to the Bills and they gave them the game. But then they turn over a couple turnovers there, a couple bad plays. They lose to the Bills. I mean, the Bucks game kind of got out of hand, but they had guys missing all week. But they were with the Bucks in the fourth quarter. They were hanging there right with them.
Yeah.
You know, they beat the Chiefs. They hung with the Chiefs second time. So when they play good teams, they play up to their level. So I that's my thing with the Raiders this year, and I kind of said that on Twitter, but I don't know. I'm just ranting, guys. I'm hopeful, I guess.
Yeah, so hopefully they can just play their own game and not play down to the Jets level this weekend.
Exactly.
But yeah, we'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see.
Take them serious, guys. They're an NFL team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, we went way over, but
it's all right. We're okay.
Yes, appreciate all the listeners out there, guys. All the audience tuning in each and every week. You don't go unnoticed. We definitely appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Follow me at BD Williams 18. This is my co-host at the Mark John NFL, Marcus Johnson. He's the offense guy. I'm the defense guy. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about Tape Don't Lie podcast, guys. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. We out.